Have you ever looked at a perfectly lit, incredibly smooth photo of a person smiling and felt a weird itch in the back of your brain? Your eyes tell you it's a person, but your gut tells you to look away because the face shifts into something completely unnatural. That uneasiness points to a specific corporate strategy. A handful of massive tech companies are currently cramming this software into every app, website, and work tool we own, without ever checking to see if we actually want it there. Imagine coming home to find a stranger has moved into your living room. They eat your food, they talk over your friends, and they insist they are there to make your life easier. That is exactly how this tech rollout feels. Usually, we get to choose our tools. We decide if we want to buy a smartphone or sign up for a new service. We hold the power to opt in. But right now, that choice is being bypassed entirely. When you remove that consent, a tool that could have been useful starts to feel like a hostile invasion. It transforms a piece of software into an unwelcome presence in our digital lives. Take that roommate and multiply them by millions across the web. The internet was built to help people find each other, share ideas, and build real communities. But we are currently sliding into a dead internet, a state where billions of automated scripts are churning out so much material that they've begun to mathematically drown out actual breathing users. Researchers at MIT recently studied how we react to this flood of synthetic text and imagery. They found that human beings instinctively prefer writing and art with slight flaws, vulnerability, and emotion. Without those messy human traits, the generated content falls into the uncanny valley, leaving us feeling isolated and uneasy. Social media platforms make the problem worse because their sorting systems are built to promote whatever gets the most clicks the fastest. Because software can generate thousands of posts a second, the algorithm mistakenly assumes this flood of cheap spam is what everyone wants to see. This creates a closed feedback loop where machines primarily talk to other machines, burying any real human conversation under an avalanche of code. The internet is losing its fundamental value because it's replacing trust and real community with a hollow, synthetic echo chamber. This problem isn't just happening on our screens. We often hear about AI living weightlessly in the cloud, but that software has a massive physical footprint. In reality, the cloud is a network of massive, hyper-industrialized buildings. To keep these systems running, companies build 300,000 square foot data centers filled with power-hungry servers. These specific facilities demand a staggering amount of resources, often pulling millions of gallons of fresh water from local supplies and consuming immense amounts of electrical power. When a data center drains that much energy, it strains the local power grid. In many communities, this demand is already driving up the electricity rates for everyday citizens. Public anger is a rational response here. Communities are bearing the environmental and financial costs for a technology that primarily benefits a handful of tech monopolies. Then there is the most existential fear of all, the very real threat of mass job displacement. Tech executives spent years marketing this jobs apocalypse to the public. They told a story of software replacing half of all entry-level office jobs, largely to dazzle Wall Street and inflate their company valuations. Industry leaders pushed this narrative of inevitable unemployment to scare businesses into buying their software. It was only after the public grew furious that they attempted to walk those claims back. This strategy takes a heavy psychological toll. In the classroom, for example, AI anxiety leads directly to teacher burnout and a feeling that their own creative skills no longer matter. This looks a lot like the era of the Luddites. Those workers did not just hate machines, they were fighting factory owners who concentrated all the wealth at the top, while the workers whose roles were eliminated bore all the costs. The hostility toward AI is a response to a broken social contract. This happens when a tool is weaponized by executives to threaten livelihoods instead of assisting them. This growing pushback is a pro-human movement, a demand for clear boundaries on how we use technology. The data from that MIT study validates what we already feel. Humans have an inherent preference for naturalness, vulnerability, and real flaws over synthetic perfection. For innovation to be sustainable, it has to be positioned as a partner that conserves human energy, rather than a competitor that drains it. We have the power to reject fake content and demand that digital tools serve human needs without violating our environmental or economic limits. Amidst the push for an artificial future, the human brain and our genuine connection to each other remains the most valuable resource we have. In a world increasingly filled with code, protecting that real connection is what matters most.